Here it is. It's a big surprise for y'all. Those of you who subscribe, we're not expecting any sort of Christmas morning notification.
But here we are.
It is. Woo-woo!
Merry Christmas and happy holidays from Big Sexy Digital Nomad
and your friend Judgmentalist.
I hope you guys are ready. Yes.
Next year, we are going to figure out the proper cadence to speak through that the way that some other podcasts do.
Right.
They're a New Year's resolution, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be our resolution for the New Year's, to actually figure all this shit out.
That's right. We will figure out how to be podcasters in 2023. So
I make no promises.
So, hey, what is this? This is twofold. This is a little self-serving. This is a little gift-giving. You guys have given so much to us as the audience has grown a little bit more seemingly every week, so we appreciate that. We also have an older bank episode that we wanted to get rid of, and we wanted to not get rid of, obviously, but we wanted to get it out there because it's kind of stale, but relevant. I kind of skimmed.
Not stale. It's slowly more and more becoming outdated.
And it is not that we've established a solid format yet, but this certainly doesn't conform to
any kind of format.
The current flow. And additionally, there is, because I skimmed it, because we keep a sheet to keep track of what did we talk about, because for any of you who are not podcasters, the moment that we click the button to stop recording, we will have forgotten what we've recorded about. It's kind of a thing in podcasting. Didn't believe it until we started doing it, but it's true. A very relevant kind of call to action is sort of thing, a little to us, a little to you people that are listening there, is what do we call you? You're going to hear us talk about that in this episode, and some other stuff that, again, even though I just listened to it 2 hours ago, I've already forgotten. But for you, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. There are like 30 different holidays that intersect
Winter
with
solstice,
that intersect this time of year. The other thing that we do talk about, now that I remember it, is our desire, even though we're weird and nerdy, to be inclusive with everybody, whether you're weird and nerdy or not. And I think that travels well with the theme of wanting to give this to you regardless of what you celebrate, or maybe you celebrate nothing at all. Yeah. Celebrate digital nomading.
Happy holidays, or happy wintertime, or shit, happy Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever this drops. Happy Wednesdays.
And of course, since this is probably the second most traveled holiday of the year in the country, safe travels.
Safe travels. Have a safe travel. All right, guys. Happy holidays. Bye. Digital new.
Using nice words. Yeah. And so that's a journey. I think that's every time you move, with the exception of what you've got going on, where you're going to jettison the vast majority of your stuff.
Yes.
Less stuff means less stuff to have to put into the right place. And I will tell you, we've realized, when you do a move like that, where you take all your stuff and go from one place to another, you really realize how much unnecessary shit you have.
Got that. That is a true statement.
And not that this is like the sexiest topic, but I mean, I can kind of go on and get into some of the layers of this. One of the early things that we did once we were under contract, because this is a situation where there were different tiers to this purchase and move. We went under contract 4th of July-ish, and we closed on the purchase of the new house the September 2nd. So the first Friday, I guess that was in September.
That's the day after my birthday.
But happy birthday, super belated, because it's belated to say that when we're recording. It'll hell, I doubt we'll be sitting on this bank episode long enough that it's
early.
That it's early. But the inhabitants, the sellers of the house that we now own, rented back from us for almost 2 months. So you want to talk about like the anticipation of getting in here, kind of wild. But one of the things that we did was we rented a storage unit that's one of those ones. And there's, Pods is a name brand. There's one called Rat Pack or something like that. We used one that is called Cows, which stands for like container on wheels or something like that. So basically, they bring the storage unit to you. So you're not loading up all your stuff, not taking it to a location, putting it into something, and then leaving. They bring it to you. You load it up. They take it to where they can store it securely. You put your own lock on it and everything like that. And then when it's time and when you're ready for it, you pick up the phone and say, hey, bring me my unit. This is the new address. And this is when I want it. So in unloading that's where you really, something like that, where we got that at the end of July and started unloading it at the end of October after we took possession of this house. So 3 solid months. I would venture to say that anybody who wants to explore minimizing the things that are in your life, get one of those pods, throw a bunch of shit in it, and then have it come back 3 months later, 6 months later, whatever a comfortable time for you is. And instead of unloading it back into your house, and I'm not saying this in the context of moving, I'm saying this in the context of what can I live without?
Right.
Roll it up so that it's in your driveway, and then have somebody put one of those roll-off dumpsters in the other parking spot in your driveway, and then just transfer everything from the pod to the dumpster. Because if it's been sitting in there for that period of time, did you miss it? Do you really need it?
I will say that having recently done this myself, we just cleared out our storage unit. And we've had that storage unit for a couple years, ever since we moved from the house into the condo where we lived at before we lived in the apartment now. So everything in that storage unit is a few years old. I wish that every time I had thought of something that I couldn't find, I wrote it down. Because going through my storage unit, I'm like, oh, here it is.
Right.
It's been in here this entire time. I've been looking for it. So there are things that you will put in there that you are looking for later.
And I'll tell you,
jot it down.
I make a list. Dump the whole thing, because there are some things that strategically, they were furniture items that, like for example, I play a lot of poker, and that kind of stopped as far as live poker was concerned in the pandemic, and I haven't really gotten back into it. But after the last time that I played in a World Series event, which is in 2019, one of the companies who makes the tables for Caesars and for WSOP for those tournaments was, throwing around promo material. And I'm like, you know what? I want one of these for home. So I had a custom made, I think it was Gorilla tables or something like that, with everything, the chip layout that cuts out, drink things and everything like that. So a piece of furniture like that, hey, I can go 3 months without hosting people in for playing poker. That's not something that I would transfer to the dumpster. There were other pieces of like, we trimmed down stuff that was in our garage, and there were some storage, like some kind of like a plasticky Rubbermaid type of material, sort of shelving things and containers. Those are things that are like, okay, we're going to temporarily do without these. But I also rolled out with 3 moving bags that were labeled my clothes. And I'm like, I could probably confidently just dump these in a dumpster right now without opening them, without knowing what's in them, because I'm fucking worn these clothes in 3 months. When the hell am I going to wear them next? And I still haven't opened them yet because they're on that list of just not a priority. So just food for thought in general. Not if you're
Yeah.
shoving off and leaving where you are and selling all your stuff, but in general, if you want to trim down and minimize, you know, temporarily get rid of stuff. And like you said, as things pop up in that journey of doing without that container or putting stuff in a storage unit for X amount of time, jot down what it is as you're
Write it
unloading it.
down.
Pull
Oh
those
man, I'm looking for
things,
this.
pull those things that you missed aside, keep them, and anything else that you didn't mention, didn't think of, didn't whatever, just jettison that shit. Like, clear it out. It'll be better for you.
Yeah, so it's we had quite an ordeal with our storage unit the last week that we had it. The Monday where we decided we're gonna go and start moving things out of the storage unit slowly, 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 so that by the weekend we can rent a truck and get all the bigger items out. Somehow in that space of maybe 5 days from the last time I did the storage unit till we make that decision, we lost the key
Ooh.
to the lock. And we had one of them good old round master padlocks. So I went to my friend MoMA and borrowed bolt cutters, but I could not cut that bolt because it is designed to avoid bolt cutters. The way the locks are set up there, the way they're sideways, the majority of the lock is facing the gate itself. So that was a bust.
So you're talking about the mostly silver. It's round and there's literally maybe this much,
like inch of metal,
like an inch of metal that's exposed that slides across. Yeah,
slides. Yes,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I mean, shout out to Masters who make a pretty damn good lock. So that was the bust, and this again, I'm only able to do this in the morning before work. Because so I have a very small window to try to accomplish these things. All the while coming back home and looking for the key because it was maddening because the key was on a ring and it was on the ring with my one of my PO box keys. And I found the PO box key by itself without the ring on it. And so I know that means that the lock key is somewhere, but we could not find it. So come that Friday, I said, well, you know what? I got to go in the morning to the storage unit, see what their contingency is. I know they have a contingency to get locks off of storage units. So I asked them what they did. They handed me a card. They said, call these people. They'll come out. They'll cut the lock off, and then boom. So I called them. Luckily, they were able to come out right away. Shout out to Lock Choppers. It's the name of the company that I use. They're really quick, really inexpensive, great work. So they came out, cut the lock off. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to take the day off. I'm going to take the day off today. I'm not going to go to work. And I'm just going to do as many trips as I can in my little Kia Sportage and take as many bins as I can to home, to the apartment, and start moving that stuff out. 3 trips of just me unloading bins into my Kia, driving. It's a 25-minute drive. Well, it starts off as a 20-minute drive in the morning, and then as you get later in the day, that time increases as traffic increases. Traffic. Yeah. And then by the 3rd trip, I was okay. And then the storage facility had weird hours. Like they were only open from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
And you're there basically in the breeze. Like if you don't get this thing done, whatever's still in there when they close, you don't have a lock on there. Or did you replace another lock?
Well, I replaced it with another lock.
Oh, okay.
You have to have a lock. Like
gotcha.
You can't have your stuff there unlocked.
Now, how much proof that you had the rights, this was your stuff?
Oh, well,
did Lock Choppers provide or require?
We have to go to the office. You have to meet them in the office, and the office signs off on it, and I sign off on it. They go, yes, that's his unit. I go, yes, that's my unit. There's my ID card, and just say you have to prove it's your unit with the
Gotcha. Okay,
office.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. We were laughing about that. Like I just can't come in, but like, hey, chop that one off,
Yeah.
and now I
How about
chopped
these
that
three?
one off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bunch of money, and I chopped those off. All right, here we go. Step 3, profit.
It's
Um,
like that
so
store's worst show.
yeah, so did that all day Friday. Saturday was the big move. So we ended up giving or selling our. We have a big sectional couch, the kind that has a recliner on it and a sofa bed, and then the chaise lounge. So we had that big set, and we want to get rid of that because, of course, we're not taking that with us. It's huge. And I've been trying to, sell it. And eventually, my friend, a dear friend of mine, really very close friend of mine, one of my best friends, Chris Temple. Shout out to Chris Temple.
What up,
Uh,
Chris?
uh, Purchased it, and so that let me know that it was going to a good home as well, right? Going to a loved one. There's that sense of relief and awesomeness. And I said, look, we'll figure out a way to get it to you. So also shout out to my cousin Kendall, who came over. Well, he met me at her place Saturday morning. We had to take out she had a kind of a sectional couch in her apartment. Now, she lives about 30 minutes away from where I live. So the order of events was fun. So Saturday morning, I wake up, uh, run some errands, then go rent the truck. Me and the wife by ourselves move the sectional couch into the moving truck. And then I drive it across town where I meet my cousin and my friend Chris's house. And we go up and we take down her sectional couch. Now, her section is light, super light. It was super easy to move. She lives upstairs. That was the easy part. That part was simple. That moving her couch downstairs into the dumpster was easy peasy. Then came the balls hard, uh, crazy difficult part of getting the sectional couch out of the truck and up the stairs into her apartment. We started with the
Gravity,
sofa bed.
not your friend.
Not at all. Not at all. We started with luckily, however, the stairs did have railings, and the railings were thin enough that we can set the couch on top of it and push it up the railing. However, at the top of the railing, she has a gate, and the gate has this cute little ornate whatever that embellishment on top of it is called. It's lovely. However, uh, the recliner, the bottom of it is just a grill, and that kept getting stuck on that ornate, and it's heavy because it's a recliner. So we couldn't push it forward. We had to eventually lift it up, and we did that after the sofa bed. Had I thought about it, I would have done that one first, but who knew? Long story short, we got it in. Success. Wonderful. Took a breath. Took a little bit longer than anticipated, but it worked out. Then me and my cousin drove to the storage unit to clear it out, which was going nice and smoothly. And again, just the two of us. Just the two of us.
But you got a U-Haul truck now, not the Kia.
Well, yeah. We got to Home Depot, and I get the truck from Home Depot because it's much cheaper than U-Haul. Shout out to Home Depot. Become a sponsor. We unloaded the storage unit, but during the unloading of the storage unit, I had a bin filled with CDs. And the way the storage unit is positioned, the door that goes into the interior, which is where my unit was, has a small little ramp on it. And then it's at the top of a hill, right? So this has a decline, and the door opens out right at the top of the hill. Well, thanks to gravity, the cart caught the edge of this little ramp, tipped over. The box OCDs fell over, hit the ground, broke, and and this is a plastic bin of CDs. It broke, and all the CDs scattered all on the ground. And so that was fun. And then while I was picking up the CDs and putting them, luckily I had some duffel bags to put them in, so I had a place to put them. Uh, the I accidentally stepped on the lid of that bin, and then gravity was not my personal friend, and it also invited me down to the ground, and which I fell. And I went, oh, I'm not spry, not as spry as I'm not spry hard stop. So I fell and hit the ground. And then my cousin, are you okay? I'm fine. I've hurt my knee a little bit and I bruised my pride, but other than that, I'm okay. But luckily, we got the truck loaded, got it back to the apartment, and then I got it unloaded. The three of us, me, my wife, my cousin, unloaded the truck, and then immediately I had to return the truck and go DJ away. That was my Saturday.
Hell of a
And
day.
after the wedding, I went to karaoke. Ended up staying out too late, which was silly because Sunday morning I had to wake up early and go perform for the masses at the Galleria Mall here in Henderson and the Children's Theater.
You keep it busy, you know? Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so we basically moved for a week, pretty much. We got possession. We were supposed to get possession of the house end of day on Monday, and we finagled getting the keys early a day, Sunday. So of course started moving some stuff, you know, that excitement of a new place and wanting to get in there and everything like that. Um and it was different phases where different stuff was being done. We had professional movers come in and do the furniture, our refrigerator, things like that. That was Thursday of the week. So I mean, there was stuff being done. And of course, we're selling a house at the same time, which a week later, Monday, was the closing on. So we had that mad dash of getting everything out of the house that we were selling. Always an
and
adventure.
and into the new house.
Yeah.
Right. Did you uh were you able to did you get all done? You got all the big stuff done in a day, right?
So I mean, the big stuff. I mean, there was, you know, the early phases were unloading that pod and moving stuff that we didn't trust other people to deal with. Fragile stuff, my magic stuff. My wife is a collector of Disney pins, like those enamel pins that are probably about an inch, 2 inch, although she's got some that are much larger. But
Right.
I mean, she's got thousands,
Does she
thousands
have
of
display cases for them, or are they just like in bags?
no, a lot of them are on display. She's got these big
Cork boards?
yeah, basically like cork boards, except they have fabric on them, but basically the same concept that are
Right.
like, I don't know, I want to say some of them are like 2 feet by 3 feet, something like that. And she's got maybe 7 or 8 of those.
Mm.
Um, filled with the, you know, and each board's got kind of a different, like, these are all food themed pins, and these are all whatever, and these are, you know,
So
this, that, and
okay,
the
well, you
other.
did say she's a bit of a has some of that OCD.
Yeah, a little bit. So, you know, we moved those other stuff, the big furniture, couches, um, a lot of that stuff is where the professional movers moved, and that was on Thursday. And they, you know, and anything that we had left in the house for the most part, they were like, hey, we'll fill it in. Just tell us what to move. They were pretty good. They scratched up the fridge, but other than that, everything went.
Not the fridge.
Yeah. Some people in my house are more concerned with that than I am, but you know, I'm not going to name names that I've already named in this podcast. So, um,
Other people in your house of the house that has two people.
Yeah. Well, no, there's kids too, but
Oh, right. I forget you have kids.
Yeah. I mean, they're almost not kids anymore, but a little older every year, just like the rest of us.
Right.
But yeah, I'm glad to have all that done and behind me. I'm looking forward to figuring out where all my shit is because I don't know where all of it is yet. Such is life. But at the same time, I'm also looking
It's
forward
the fun of discovery. It's the fun of exploration.
hopping on a plane and saying fuck it and then doing what I got to do out in Vegas. Um, which by the time that we drop this will have all been past tense. So thanks for all of you who came out to hang out with us. That was a good time.
It was good seeing y'all.
Yes, yes, yes,
He
yes.
says, not knowing who's he gonna see.
Hopefully you guys told a friend, and we've got twice as many people listening to the podcast when this drops than when we recorded it. That would be the dream, right?
At least twice.
Yes.
We're in the early stages, so tell as many people as you can.
Yeah, and those cool things that we gave you when you came out to meet up with us, use them. That way people can subtly kind of see them and be like, "Oh, what's that?" And then you can talk about it. If you showed up, you know what we're talking about.
And if you didn't, well, by this time you still won't. You might know by now. We may talk about it in a future episode that happens in the past when this episode is dropped. See, that's that weird thing about podcasting, which I'm also enjoying, but it also hurts the brain just a little bit.
There's
So I'm gonna leave that in. Let's yeah. I'm trying to do that time dance is
no more time dances, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll do it again, but
of course we will. Of course we will. It's the nature of podcasting.
That's right. That's right.
But I really have been enjoying though to backtrack a little bit, finding shit in the different bins that I had been looking for. Like I found some of the sandals. There's just some simple stuff like sandals. We recently started playing mahjong every Sunday. And I kept saying, I know I have a mahjong set. I know I do. I have a small mahjong set that was really neat and ornate. And I got it at like a Savers or a thrift store at one point in time. I said, this is awesome. Maybe one day I'll learn how to play it. By the time I learn how to play it, I could not figure out where that mahjong set was. And I would go back and forth to the storage unit. And that's the one thing I do like about having a facility versus the pods.
You have access to it. Yeah.
You have access to it. And I remember going and looking and like pulling out the box that had all the board games and going through it and not seeing it, going, damn it, whatever. Or every now and then looking in the bin and finding, here's the bin of things I've been looking for. Let me take this back and now unload this. But that also happens when you move from a large place to a smaller place, right? Some things that you really, really want and needed just don't fit in the smaller space, right? Gone are my dreams of having a 6-bedroom house with these 3 rooms dedicated to 3 completely different things. Being able to decorate, like having my NASCAR room, having my Raiders room, having my Prince room. Each different decor, and I love the idea of that. But I married a minimalist. So not gonna happen. Instead, we're gonna travel the world and move around the world. But like I said, but I love finding stuff.
It's a good trade.
Fair. It's a fair trade. Yeah. I'll own that. Yeah. I accept that. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I can give it this dream for that other bigger one. Absolutely. So that's been like it's having these weird moments, and so we're getting ready for another garage sale. So I'm about to have these experiences again because each night I'm going to take stuff over to my friend's house and put in the store in the garage, get ready for the garage sale, and I'll be able to go through what's in here. Oh, Opa! Look, I found this remote to this TV that I've been having to manhandle to change channels and change volumes. It's been in this box this whole time.
How cool is this? Like, you guys are up and you're leaving and you're going to go travel the world, and you're going to do that as long as you want to, really. And then there might come a day, and maybe there won't, but there might come a day in which you guys are like, you know what? Let's go back to the US and not be nomadic. And if that happens, you've got a clean slate. You don't have to go back to SoCal. You don't have to go back to Vegas. You can put a pin on anywhere on that map that you want. I mean, you've got that freedom with the nomading. Like, hey, you know, we're here temporarily. Where do we want to go next? And you've got, with probably few exceptions and some criteria that you guys have determined to be important, you got free reign of the entire planet to just be like, you know what, we're going to go and do 3 months here, and then we're going to do 2 months there. I mean, that's badass.
Yeah, that's a little bit harder to do in the U.S. because the U.S. is so stupid expensive
Yeah.
to live in on a whole. Which is why we'll probably do that with the world as opposed to we may pop back in the U.S. for a visit, but I don't know if we'll live back here again. It's a possibility. I know the wife really likes the Bay Area, but our issue is right. There are actually small places where we want to only a couple places where we want to set down roots and actually live. And I probably have fewer than she does. Right. We're both team anti-winter, so that
Right.
takes out a lot of the country. Right. There's no way I'm living in Arizona. There's no way I'm living in New Mexico. I'm not living in Texas. So the Southwest is pretty much out. Right. So there's California, which is stupid expensive. There's Vegas, which I know and I love, but the wife doesn't really care for that much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because East Coast gets cold, right?
Yeah.
You can't do Florida. And again, it's costly in the US to bounce around, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to they don't have a come here for a few months type of situations, right? Monthly rentals of Airbnbs are crazy, stupid expensive here versus really inexpensive in Europe. So yeah, it's easy to do that, bounce around in Europe with a travel visa and then what have you. But we'll do what we can, and we'll see. And I'm sure things will have to we'll have to come back occasionally to take care of family stuff. And both of us have family out here, so I mean, this is not we're not leaving and never coming back to the U.S. You know, nor would we want to do that. We both have loved ones here, but we also want to see the world. So I'm really stoked about it. So yeah, what's really amazing is that we are with every big item sold, right? It's another check mark off the list,
Yeah.
right? It's another thing but oh, this is real. You know what I mean? With every reservation we make and every price quote we get, oh, this is real, right? So we know we're cruising. We already have that booked and the app is counting down for us. So we already know we're going to be on a cruise. If anybody wants to join us, we're going to be on the Virgin Voyages cruise, transatlantic, leaving Miami April 22nd, 2023, and landing in Barcelona, Spain, May 7th. So if you want to join that cruise, feel free to come along. Let us know you're doing that because we will be recording. I'll be recording both my podcasts from the boat. And it'd be great to hang out with some folks as we start our digital nomading lifestyle. So that's real, right? We're looking at the cost of Airbnbs in different areas in Spain and in Portugal. and some in Costa Rica and Panama. We are um, making those arrangements. I don't know if I mentioned here on the podcast. I may have. I don't know what we talked about. That is a real thing. Anybody out there who makes a podcast knows this. Anybody out who listens to a podcast may not. When you do a podcast, you almost instantly forget what the hell you've already talked about.
Of course.
Have we talked about that? I don't remember if we talked about that. And you start getting conversations. And like, did we talk about that on the podcast or did we just talk about that in person? So I don't know if I've said this before. If I said it before, listen in. Enjoy the trip down memory lane. If this is the first time I've said it, hi there. Welcome to the introduction of this statement. We are going to do a road trip. We are renting a car or a truck or a van, big vehicle because we're going to have a lot of luggage. We're doing a road trip from Miami. I'm from California to Miami. So we're doing the Barry White, we call it the Barry White farewell tour by having different events. But we're actually doing a Barry White farewell tour by renting a vehicle and traveling cross country. And we're going to make stops. Last stop in Vegas, do a couple events here. And then we'll make our way to Colorado, see some friends there. I got several. We'll probably stop in Utah. I got some friends in Utah I need to see, and then Colorado I need to see, and then we'll hit the Midwest and catch her family as we make our way. Then we head to the Carolinas, run up with some friends of ours, and then make our way down through the Carolinas, through Florida, hitting in Miami, making little stops along the way. So it's probably going to do we're looking at renting a car for a week, but we'll see what we can afford. But I would like to maybe like 10 days, do like a 10 or 12 days, just rent the car. And then that we can spend a day or two in a city that we want to stop in. We don't have to just stop, say hi, and then bounce. Right. We can map that out. But as that gets closer, we'll lock that in and do all the things.
A fun journey.
It's going to be a blast.
And once that gets a little closer, I guess you're going to have a little bit more of we'll be here and then we'll be here and then we'll be here kind of itinerary. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah. That's going to be the great part, right? Of one, recording the podcast each week is like, and even on the journey, you and I may end up recording. We should record little, maybe snippets, maybe not each day, but each new location that we land.
Yeah.
Do a special, do a special recording for that week, whatever. Just every time I land a new location, and then put that all out as one, piece it together and put that out as one long episode of do the special Big Sexy, the Barry White farewell tour. That is not easy to say. Farewell tour. Farewell tour. Farewell tour. Farewell tour. Farewell tour.
You got this. You got this.
The Barry White farewell tour. It's said it so many times now, it just sounds weird. So when we do that, that'll be an interesting I think an interesting episode of where in the country are the Barry Whites as we traverse and put that together. So that'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and hopefully some of our listeners will have an opportunity to figure out where you are on that farewell tour. Pop in, say hi, something along those lines.
Absolutely. Now, what are you doing right now? Because you look like you're and you're engaged in weird videos. What are you watching?
No, I'm actually bouncing around trying to clean up the junk that's in my inbox because I was out of my office for a week pretty much with this move. And I want to say that I probably get 50 plus emails every day that are completely useless. And so it's just literally like going through and identifying them and clicking the checkbox beside them and deleting them without even opening them.
So you do the opposite way. When I haven't, if I haven't been in my inbox in a few days, it'll fill up really quickly, and uh, I just select all, and then I scroll through and just unclick the ones that I want to keep.
I gotcha. I was gonna say because some of the stuff I do need to keep. Some of it's important.
Yeah. So I click the ones that I need to keep. Okay, I need to see that. I need to see what that is. I need to see what that is. And the rest, all these different. I get a lot of junk. I get a lot of advertisements, and I enter try to. It's weird because I enter a lot of sweepstakes, but I don't you usually use words. I have them. I can use them.
They're there somewhere.
Usually use. I have a junk email account.
Yeah.
And I usually use that junk email account for sweepstakes and things like that. But some things I want to get notice on, and I want to get like coupons and stuff like that. I want to get that, so I want to see those because if it goes in my junk, I won't see those. I check that maybe like once a week or so. But still, that means my regular email just fills up, with junk. So I usually have to clear that out. I try to do that on a daily basis. Go in there, but some days you're moving stuff out of a storage unit and sliding down hills and loading trucks and pushing couches uphill and then playing mahjong all day because you don't want to do anything else and performing for the masses. And it's been 4 days since you looked at your inbox and all of a sudden like 400 messages. And like, oh, I should go through those and keep what I need and drop what I don't. So that's always fun. I get in there and do that.
Yeah.
Listeners, what's your inbox routine? Listen, I want to know what things do you guys how much stuff piles up in your inbox? Are you the type of person? Because what drives me crazy is having that little red notification with a number telling me how many emails I have in my inbox, or it usually just says 99 plus. I hate red notification. Whoever designed that, I am the target audience because I hate that. I see that I need to clear that off. I need that to go away. So I will go in and make sure I clear out all those. It kills me like, there are people who I know and love who have thousands of emails in their inbox that they have not gone through. And my brain breaks. I'm all delete, clear out your inbox, put that stuff in, get it out. Why is all this junk in it? Clear it out. And I don't want to go in and do it for them, so I don't. But occasionally I want to clear it out. Man, it's insane. So listeners, chime in. Let us know what is your inbox routine. Are you a collector of emails? Are you a person who goes in on a daily basis and absolutely has to clear them out completely and totally? Is an empty inbox a good inbox in your mind? Or do you feel the comfort being wrapped around so much electronic mail?
And differentiate, because like I try to keep like my target number and my goal is all based on unread messages. And I will open something, I will read it, and if I'm not handling it right away, I will mark it back as unread so it stays near the top. I know some people need to have everything absolutely cleared out of their inbox all the time, which means that they've got that mentality of, if this is something that I need to deal with, then it's something that I need to deal with now. So where are you on that spectrum? We're not going to read any listener mail now, even though I've got some sitting here and some audio stuff.
Oh, this is a bank episode.
Because it's a bank episode.
No, this is a bank episode.
Yeah.
We want to be sure you guys hear your responses when we know that it's going to be released.
But we'll remind you to either hop on to our website where you can leave that voice message. You can shoot us an email, bigsexynomad@gmail.com, or the shortcut is prankcall.me. That'll get you to where you can leave that voice message so that we can hear your external monologue and share it with the listeners.
Also, feel free to shoot us a message at Big Sexy Nomad on the Instagram and the Twitters.
That's right.
We
That's right.
catch those there. You can find me personally at Who is Big Sexy at on the Instagram and the Twitters.
I can be found at Psychic-ish, also Instagram and Twitter. I don't do too much outside of that. That's worth talking
I'm
about.
old. I'm old, so I do the Facebook as well. And I'm find me on one place, you'll find me on the other. That's what I tell people. I always having to explain why Facebook is stupid and wouldn't let me just have Big Sexy there. But whatever. It's okay.
You got to play.
Yeah, find us. Hit us up. Hit us up. In the meantime, we'll keep traveling. We'll keep it moving. We need a cool catchphrase.
That's right. We do.
Yeah, we need a cool catchphrase for our. Also, do the call to action. Call to action for all our listeners. I'm doing the call to action now. I'm going to post this on the social media, so you'll know it. You won't know when this episode drops, but you will know about this call to action. So when you hear this episode, you'll know that you responded to this call to action. Come and drop it on the social medias as well. We need a name for y'all. Something that we need to call y'all because Ice Cream Social has its scoops. I don't know if two characters and a clown has anything they call their.
I don't think they have. They've determined
name
that
for their listeners yet. But I'll have to shoot RJ a message or shoot Johnny Miles or Jimmy Slonina a message, see if they have named their listeners. Hey bud, nice podcast. We're cheese bags.
That's right.
Penn Sunday School has the congregation. So it's really cool to have names. So I was thinking, calling our listeners, no matters or something. Oh, I like no matters because no matter and no matters,
and you all matter to us. So
the play on words there. So the call to action is, what should we name y'all? Give us some suggestions on what we should call our listeners.
And if you are listening to this episode and we already have something like that, and you think you've got a better idea, fire it off. We'll listen.
Yeah. Shout it out.
And any other ideas to make this thing better, we're always, we're super open-minded and looking to make this something that's enjoyable, entertaining, and occasionally informative to all y'all.
If you have any questions about travel that you'd like us to answer, if you have any questions about entertainment, if you have any questions about Vegas,
weird, crazy travel stories.
Yeah. Chime in with all that good stuff. Tell us all about your exploits. We have bigsexynomad.com, don't we?
Yeah, I think so.
We own that domain, don't we? So yeah, you can also shoot over to bigsexynomad.com, and we're going to start building that website out so that there's a place to contact us and chime in with listener emails and all that kind of goodness.
Yeah, it exists. It basically just takes us to the hosting page for the podcast itself, so you can see the various places. As of today, recording time, different places to listen to the podcast, connect with us on the social media. You can listen, or you can leave one of those external monologue voice messages, all that kind of stuff right there.
Awesome stuff. All right, sir. Well, as always, it has been a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. And until next time, folks, tell a friends. We'll be here.
Tell your friends. Safe travels.
Thanks for stopping by.